Welcome to the Vacation Kingdoms podcast, your ultimate guide to planning the perfect Walt Disney World vacation. Whether you're a first timer to Disney or you're a seasoned visitor looking for new adventures, this podcast is your go-to destination for all things Walt Disney World. From insider tips on planning your itinerary to in-depth reviews of attractions, restaurants, and shows at the parks, we've got you covered. My name is Connor Brown, and as a former Walt Disney World cast member, current Orlando local, and a seasoned travel agent specializing in Disney vacations, I am so excited to get to share all of my expertise with you on this show. I think I should first say welcome to the first official Vacation Kingdoms podcast. If you listened to the previous version of this show called WDW Opinion, well, thanks so much for listening to that, and thank you so much for giving this new iteration a try. I greatly appreciate you. Before we get started, I think we should get into some housekeeping notes. Prior to this show, this Vacation Kingdoms podcast, I recorded 128 episodes of the WDW Opinion podcast. That's a lot. And I can't just neglect that number. Even though this is the first official Vacation Kingdoms podcast, I don't want it to be, episode 1. I don't want to forget the history that we had, even if we're going off in a new direction. So while this is episode 1 of Vacation Kingdoms, I'm sticking with the WDW opinion number. I worked hard for that. So welcome to episode 129 of the show, the first episode where we've used Vacation Kingdoms in the name. If this is your first show that you've ever listened to, whoa, did you pick a doozy of a show to listen to? That's for sure. Prior to this, I released kind of a little mini episode, I guess you could call it. It's called Introducing Vacation Kingdoms. What I really want to talk about and emphasize is during that mini show, I talked about how this new iteration, Vacation Kingdoms, was going to be something that allowed me to talk about other destinations and how I was excited to talk about other destinations. Places like the Universal Orlando Resort and Disney Cruise Line are destinations that I've really come to enjoy over the last few years. And I feel like I've become an expert in them, and I want to share my expertise with you on those destinations as well. It's also part of the reason why I decided on a name change. WDW Opinion, obviously the WDW in that stands for Walt Disney World. I didn't feel right calling it WDW Opinion and then talking about a cruise line or talking about Universal Orlando all the time. So Vacation Kingdoms kind of makes it more inclusive of other destinations. But I also recognize if you've listened for this long, if you were a loyal WDW Opinion fan, supporter, listener, I don't want to alienate you. The Walt Disney World content isn't going anywhere. It's still going to be the crux of what we do, kind of the tent pole of everything we talk about. Walt Disney World is still king. It's still my favorite place in the entire world. I'm still, my expertise is still the most on Walt Disney World compared to other destinations. But I do want to, I want to be real with you all, but also I don't want to alienate anyone who's just here for Walt Disney World specific content. So here's how it will work. We don't just have one podcast relaunching. We actually have 3 podcasts coming at you. This one you're listening to right now, the Vacation Kingdoms podcast, that's our overarching one. You're listening to it right now. This is our flagship show. This is going to be talking about Walt Disney World Resort topics. We're dedicating the Vacation Kingdoms podcast to that. I can't help myself, so we might talk a little Disneyland, but let's just talk of it, think of it as Disney parks specific. This show that you'll be listening to. That's what Vacation Kingdoms is going to be. A new show is going to debut. That's going to be called the Universal Report. The Universal Report. It's going to talk about vacation planning tips and strategies around the Universal Orlando Resort. Now, we're not going to stop there. because a third show will also debut. That show is going to be called Ahoy, a Disney cruise planning podcast. That's coming down the pike. For me, what I think is going to happen is Vacation Kingdoms is going to be weekly, and then the Universal Report is going to be maybe every other week, once, twice a month, and then Ahoy, a Disney cruise line planning podcast, once or twice a month as well. I understand that you listening, you might have zero interest in going to Universal Orlando. That's totally fine. You also might have zero interest on getting on a Disney cruise line ship for one reason or another. Maybe you're terrified of the ocean. I'm not going to force you to listen to a podcast about cruises if you're terrified of the ocean. That wouldn't be right. That would be downright cruel if we're being real about that. So, here's how this is going to work. The podcast feed that you have right now, it's going to list episodes from all three of those podcasts. Each podcast, the Vacation Kingdoms podcast, the Universal Report, and then Ahoy, a Disney Cruise Line planning podcast, they're all going to have different podcast artwork. And of course, the titles of each episode is going to correlate and correspond to the podcast show I'm talking about. It's all going to be on one feed. Here's what you do. If you have no interest in Universal, if you see an episode pop up, it's got the Universal Report logo, it's talking about Universal, skip it. Scroll on to the next one, go to your Vacation Kingdoms podcast. Maybe you don't want to have anything to do with Disney Cruise Line. Skip Ahoy as well. No hard feelings. No hard feelings at all. I totally get it. I don't want to take anything away from your love of Walt Disney World if that's the only thing you want. All I ask for you is if you're not interested in it, just skip it. Don't worry about it at all. The Disney World content is still going to come to you. Again, if you only want Walt Disney World content, stick to the Vacation Kingdoms podcast. I want to make it easy for you to skip stuff, but if you are interested in Universal or Disney Cruise Line, we're coming at you. Stay tuned for the inaugural episodes of that, but it'll be coming to this particular feed. So if you aren't yet, be sure to subscribe in Spotify or on Apple Podcasts to this feed. Whew. That was a lot. I'll be honest. I hope that's clear. I hope that makes sense. We'll get into a flow of things as we get going. But listen, what does this mean at the end of the day? More content for you. More Connor for you. Most likely, I would infer that that's a bad thing. More Connor? Ooh, boy. Maybe you think that's a good thing. Whatever it is, just know that that's kind of the structure that I plan to follow starting out on this new endeavor. I thank you for understanding. I thank you for your support. And hopefully maybe, even if you aren't really interested, you'll give the other episodes a shot. If you don't, no hard feelings. There's just more Connor for you. All right. Put that aside. Let's get into today's episode, shall we? So I want to kind of give a full picture and share my current favorite things about the Walt Disney World Resort. Because it's been so long since I published an episode, I figured, you know what? Let's hit that refresh button a bit, right? What am I today currently loving about Walt Disney World? A couple things have happened since I last published a podcast episode. Previously, I had moved down to Orlando full time. Now I feel like I'm a seasoned Orlando local. I'm a native. Oh, actually, I'm not a native. That would mean I was born here. God knows that didn't happen. I do feel like I am a local, so I feel like I have more to bring to the table in that. And it has also shifted how I kind of interact with Walt Disney World, of course. Additionally, I've also been a travel advisor for a few more years than the last time I published an episode. So I have more expertise around navigating the parks and helping people plan their vacations, those sorts of things. So let's hit the reset button. Let's hit the refresh button. And I'm going to share 5 things. Did I put down 5? 5 things that I really am loving or interested by in the Walt Disney World Resort right now. The first one, really, it might be a huge surprise if you know me well enough. The first thing I'm loving about Walt Disney World right now is Epcot. Yeah. I know that might sound crazy if you do know me, because for my entire life growing up, Epcot was always my least favorite park. I felt like there wasn't a whole lot to do there. I feel it is flourishing in its own way, maybe to the chagrin of some that like the previous iteration of it, but I truly, truly love the state it is in and the state, more importantly, it is becoming. Maybe it's because I've grown as an adult, as a human being. That's probably true. But I also think because Epcot has changed a little bit as well. Um, a couple of reasons: the festivals and the concerts. I love being able to just kind of go whenever I want. And I know that's not going to be your case if you're not a local here. I get that. But I like just kind of going in after work, maybe grabbing a drink, taking a stroll around World Showcase Lagoon. It's become very relaxing for me. It's become less chaotic than maybe prior trips that I had taken to Epcot. Especially when you come during a festival, you kind of want to try to see and do it all, eat as much as possible. Being able to space that out, I've really grown to enjoy the festivals and things like that more and more and more. And the concerts during all the festivals are great as well. They're super fun just to go to, hang in the back, grab a beer, listen to somebody play. Today, as of this recording, I'm actually checking out Sister Hazel. Shout out the 90s. Where you at? So yeah, I really am liking it. But also, I will say in the next couple of weeks, Epcot's going to kind of be complete. It'll never be complete, right? We all know that quote. But over the last many, many years, Epcot has been in a state of transformation. We are in the final stretch of that. We've added new things like Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, probably my favorite attraction in Walt Disney World right now. Moana, The Journey of Water, really cool interactive experience. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, a great addition to the World Showcase. Dreamer's Point, which is this new central area behind Spaceship Earth in the front of the park. That's an awesome, relaxing place. Shout out to those Adirondack chairs. Ya boy loves sitting in those Adirondack chairs and watching the world go by. But all these different elements, it's really come together nicely. We still have a few walls that are left up. Again, hopefully they'll be down in the next couple of weeks. But it's just become really, really, really enjoyable for me. So Epcot, I am absolutely loving. Another thing I'm absolutely loving right now, the Wilderness Lodge. So while the Epcot craziness is getting less crazy than what we've experienced the last few years, the Magic Kingdom resort area is just getting more and more crazy. The main reason for that, the construction going on at the Polynesian. The Polynesian is getting a new tower next to the main resort area. It is a Disney Vacation Club tower. I'm in the minority. I actually like the way it's going to look. I like the artist renderings. There's going to be a new restaurant up at the top there, a new hotel area to explore. I think it's going to be a welcome addition. Others do not like it. But because of the construction going on there, traffic, pedestrian traffic, walking around, from Grand Floridian to Poly or the TTC, it's chaotic. It's insane. The park itself, Magic Kingdom, it's always busy. But I almost had that kind of Shangri-La, that Nirvana right outside the park that you could go to in the Polynesian and just chill. The construction has kind of gotten crazy with that. I've shifted to the Wilderness Lodge. I've always loved the Wilderness Lodge, but I find it's kind of this oasis. It's just far enough away from Magic Kingdom to where you can kind of get away from it all, I guess you could say. You take the boat over. It's a nice, relaxing boat ride over to the Wilderness Lodge. When you get to the Wilderness Lodge, maybe you take a load off in the lobby. You watch the world go by. Beautiful lobby, great place to hang out. Or you do what Connor does. You head right to Geyser Point, my favorite bar lounge in all of Walt Disney World right now. It's right on the water. The food is great. The service there is exceptional. They have great drinks. You can slug some beers. It's really, really, really awesome, really unique to Wilderness Lodge as well. So for me, I've been spending a good amount of time at Wilderness Lodge just to kind of escape the Magic Kingdom craziness during a Magic Kingdom day. and I've absolutely been loving it. What's the third thing I'm loving right now at Walt Disney World? The thrills. The thrills, baby. I love me some thrills. It's partly why I've grown to love Universal Orlando so much and why I've decided to launch a podcast talking about Universal Orlando. Disney has always had some solid thrills, right? We think about things like Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, Expedition Everest. We think of the old school rides. We think of Big Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, right? They've always had solid thrill rides. Lately, they've added some really top-notch thrills that I'm absolutely loving. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. I said it before, I'll say it again. My favorite ride in all of Walt Disney World right now. My favorite ride of all time, of course, is the People Mover. If you listen to this show in its previous iteration, you probably know that. But Guardians is my number one ride right now. I can ride it over and over again. Actually, in the course of a day, I could probably ride it twice. And then again, I'm getting a little dizzy. But what I mean by that is I could go, today I could ride it. Tomorrow I could go back and ride it and still have the same fun with it. I love the different songs that you can get. It's just a different experience each time. But I'll also say Tron has become another top tier favorite. It's awesome every single time I ride a completely unique ride system you won't really experience anywhere else outside of a Disney park. It's very, very cool. I also love the aspect that it's a totally different ride if you ride it at day versus if you ride it at night. There's an outside component to it that really changes the landscape of the ride. So I love that duality of it. New scenes have been added to Star Tours. Star Tours is a classic thrill attraction. While I actually haven't seen any of the new scenes yet, I love that Disney's continually adding to that to kind of bring it to life, to kind of bring it to today's characters, what have you. So that's another, newish thrill that has been added. And of course, in the next few weeks, Tiana's Bayou Adventure is opening. We know Splash Mountain was thrilling. This is the same exact ride layout. What's changing is the scenes, the animatronics, the story, the narrative, right? But the log flumes are the same. The track is the same. We still have the big drop, the couple of little drops in between that throughout the ride. It's still going to be a thrill ride. I'm very much looking forward to that. So yeah, it's been a solid couple of years for thrills at Walt Disney World. The fourth thing that I'm absolutely loving right now, which is probably going to be a very unpopular opinion, I'm really loving the virtual queue, and I'm loving Genie Plus. Now, I, of course, use Genie Plus a lot less than I use the virtual queue because you got to pay for Genie Plus, of course. But since those two systems have debuted a few years ago, I've used them dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and I'm not being facetious when I say that. I truly, truly, truly have. That's also an important preface because I know it's still a hotly contested topic that people don't like virtual queues, people don't like Genie Plus. I get it. I totally, totally get it. And me preface it by saying I've used them so many times before is very important because I've kind of mastered it, or at least I feel that I've mastered these two systems and I can really make it work to my own benefit. I'll be straight with you. They're still crazy. They're insane systems. So I've almost become an expert in the crazy, which just kind of defines my life. I feel like that might be my autobiography, Expert in Crazy. That's actually a pretty good title. I'm going to have to make a note for that. But they're crazy systems that I've kind of come to become an expert in, for better or worse, whatever it might say. And I do get that if you're just coming for that one trip, it sucks because your vacation can be dictated. It can be dictated by a few seconds, by a slip of a finger this way or that way. And it can kind of ruin the all the rides that you want to see. I totally, totally get that. But why I'm saying that I'm liking these two things now is I feel like you listening to this show, it's going to be very beneficial because I want to share my expertise on these two things. I want to make it easier for you when you come down here to Walt Disney World to put these two tools in your toolbox, in your tool belt, and feel like you're an actual master of them. And that's going to help you have a perfect Walt Disney World vacation, as close to perfect as you possibly can. So the reason I'm saying that is I've got a lot of tips I'm going to share. I believe that it's going to help you be better with both of these. I also think since they've debuted, they've gotten better. They've managed a couple of tweaks here or there to these systems. That's great. That's fine. I do think both will continue to get better, and I believe that Genie Plus might be getting easier or different very, very, very soon. More on that when an official announcement is made. That is what we call a tease in the business. So the reason I'm really digging it is because I found a way to make them work for me and my style of touring the parks. And I hope that I can share those tips with you so that you can now appreciate these tools and understand them of their benefits as well. Again, it still sucks. We got to pay for Genie Plus. We basically were paying for FastPass. It's not perfect. The old system was, yes, absolutely better, but I think I have some strategies in place that can help you, and I'll be sharing some of that very, very soon. My final thing, my fifth thing that I'm really loving about Walt Disney World right now, it's the new things known and unknown. I've said this many times before. The unknown is what keeps me coming back for more, right? There's always going to be something on the horizon, whether we know it or we don't. That sort of stuff keeps me excited, keeps me engaged in everything Walt Disney World. The things we know that are coming that I'm looking forward to, Epcot being completed, like I mentioned. The drone show coming this summer, coming in just a few days actually, to Disney Springs. The initial videos from there, the teaser videos, look awesome. So cool. We'll see how that plays out. I'm very excited for that. Tiana's Bayou Adventure debuting in just a few weeks. Excited for that as well. And the new Polynesian Tower. Again, I'm actually a fan of it. Some are not. I am. I think it's going to be really cool. It'll be debuting later this year. I'm excited for all of it, for all the knowns that we know. Does that make sense? The knowns that we know. I'm also excited for things like Encanto, Indiana Jones coming to Animal Kingdom. These are things that have been hinted at or indirectly announced, but the directness might not be there from announcement perspective. But Encanto, Indiana Jones, they do seem to be coming to the Dinoland area in Animal Kingdom. Excited to hear further developments about that. And then I think what everyone's really excited for is this question. What's beyond Big Thunder? What's beyond Big Thunder? The Imagineers have teased this before. We've seen vague artist renderings. Nothing else has been announced. I have heard that some permits have been filed to kind of look at the water structure, the water tables behind Big Thunder, to see what it would take or kind of lay the groundwork for an expansion there. That's going to be very, very interesting. So there's a lot coming down the pike, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm very, very, very much looking forward to it. I'll be experiencing it all, and I'm going to be sharing all the tips with you. The things that I like about the future is that it's something new to try, but more importantly, it's something new that I can try. I can be the guinea pig and then disperse the information on to you. I hope you're excited for all of those things as much as I'm excited for them. That's what I'm loving right now, ahora, in Walt Disney World. There you go. Vacation Kingdoms podcast number 1, but really number 129 is in the books. If you like this show, do me a huge favor, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. I'm going to read some reviews on a future show. I love hearing your feedback on the show. You can also rate us in Spotify. Be sure to subscribe in Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. If you want more from me, head over to vacationkingdoms.com to see all of our fun content. And you can follow us at Vacation Kingdoms across the social medias. If you want to connect with me directly, you can reach out to me at Connor, CONOR, at vacationkingdoms.com. I would love to hear from you. I sent a newsletter out last week. I announced Vacation Kingdoms was coming, and I said in that newsletter, hey, if you like what you're hearing, just reply to this email. Let me know. I got dozens and dozens of emails or messages on social media from people so excited that I'm back. That absolutely means the world to me. Thank you so very much for reaching out. If you did, if you want to send over a note, again, Connor, CONOR, at vacationkingdoms.com. If you've enjoyed the podcast today, then I've been Connor Brown, and you've been listening to the Vacation Kingdoms podcast. If you didn't like the show today, then you've been listening to Business Wars. I'm Connor Brown, and until next time, keep living the dream, and I'll see you real soon.